I was going to say that SEO with Fat Joe is as peaceful as this, but then the birds are all having fights.
Did you know that Google personalizes many searches by city and Also Asked is the only tool to access live People Also Ask data at city level? Try for free at alsoasked.com.
Tired of SEO guesswork? Quadra's AI agent goes deeper to uncover high-impact optimizations and completes hours of SEO in minutes. Get started now.
Hello, everyone. That was really interesting. I didn't know she was actually going to read the fun fact out loud, so yikes. Welcome. I'm Itasoha, and today I'm going to be talking about the convergence of AI and UX and how we can use AI as a tool to transform user engagement and SEO strategies. For the next 20 minutes, I'm going to, take you on this ride where you and I both can explore what I think is really important to note when you're using AI to build out your teams, to build out your products, to build out that synergy between SEO and UX. So to get started, the first big question I want us to really think about or contemplate is why UX and SEO need AI. Typically, these two teams have, operated in silos where traditionally you see UXers really focused on creating these intuitive, really pretty designs, and SEO strategists really into keyword research and putting together backlinks for a website and things like that. And so there hasn't really been a lot of synergy between these two teams in a really long time. And I think this is really where AI comes into work. I've actually been in teams where, I do have this one example where I was within the UX team and I was trying to figure out how do we make this page really accessible to users. And I was working with SEO counterparts who were more focused on how do we ensure that Google is able to pick up these web pages and really promote it when someone searches for a specific item. And there was a lot of back and forth, and one of the things that we found was by using AI, we were able to create something I like to coin a perfect page. And I really think that this is where AI is growing into, and UX and SEO can grow with it. It really does serve as that bridge that allows you to explore these ideas for your product a little more in-depthly. One fascinating figure that I saw recently when I was doing research for this talk was a Salesforce research project that really showed that 62% of users are 62% of consumers of any product really or service are really looking for companies to adapt to their actions and needs and provide those personalized experiences to them. If you think about that at scale, you see how it's almost impossible to achieve that. And I think this is really why AI is so important now for us to be exploring as a tool within our wheelhouse, because it allows you to really get into that data and provide those recommended personalizations that users are asking for. However, there's a lot that I wish that I knew then that I know now. One of the things that is really interesting for me right now, giving a talk about AI, is that I am a massive skeptic of AI. I think that it is really a way to go down this rabbit hole of cookie cutter designs if you're using it in UX in an unethical way. And so I'm very big in let's question everything and let's figure out why is this so important for us, or why is this something that we're interested in pursuing. And 5 years ago, I was at that point where I was very much adamant that AI is not something that we would need long term. Of course, I'm here now, so I've obviously changed my tune. But if I could give 5 years ago Itasoha some advice, I would tell her to start now, but start small. There isn't any point in trying to overhaul your entire business strategy just because you think, oh, AI is the way to go, so I'm going to change every single thing. It's going to be counterintuitive for you in the long term and even in the short term because you're just going to make a mess of things. Another thing that I would definitely say to 5 years ago Itasoha is that AI is not a tool that would completely eliminate the individuality of our contributions within our teams. So there isn't really a need to be confused about, where do I draw the line between what is AI and what isn't? Because you'll see it really clearly. If there's a need for creativity in the work that you do, you realize that while you can use AI for a lot of things data-driven, that creativity is very human-centered, and it's not really something that can be taken away from you. So don't ever feel like this is overwhelming and I need to use AI for everything, because you don't. Now that I've said all of that, what can you actually use AI to do when you're looking at SEO and UX? The first thing that I really want to talk about is hyper-personalization with AI. This is something that Netflix does really well, and I purposefully am using Netflix as an example here, because one of the really interesting things that it does is it gathers data on your viewing habits. So at what time of the day are you watching Netflix? What device are you using? At what point are you pausing or rewinding the shows that you're watching? If you're like me and you're a romance comedy person, buff, you will find that a lot of the shows that you watch on Netflix have the images, the product images, be more centered around showing you that romance aspect of the show you're watching. And if you're action-based or action-focused, then it's more action shots for that image. And I think this is really important, and Netflix isn't really the only one that does this, but they're such a prime example. They actually released figures last year where they spoke about how just from hyper-personalization, they were able to retain $1 billion in that year in terms of user retention. Now, these figures obviously came before Netflix was introducing ads into their shows. So I'm not really sure what the number is right now, but take that figure with a pinch of salt. But I think it's really interesting seeing what AI is able to do just from implementing things like hyper-personalization onto your website. You're able to not only retain customers, but also have that be a selling point and an attraction for people to come use your products. The second thing that I want to talk about today that I think is really important, that really drives this conversation of why AI is important for both UX and SEO, is predictive UX design. So one of the products, I guess, that uses this a lot more than others is Amazon. Amazon has this system or this software where they gather information about your shopping history, what's in your wish list, What are your price points of the products that you typically buy? And also what people that are similar to you in terms of buying habits are able to purchase, and they recommend that to you every single time. So you never have a situation where you're opening Amazon and wondering, oh, what should I get now? Because there's always something in front of you that is really interesting and you really want to try. One tool that Amazon actually has that I think is really fascinating is this shopping assistant model thingy. And it essentially preemptively predicts what you would want and ships it to a warehouse near you. So if you're a Prime user and you've ever bought something on Amazon and you're like, wait, this wouldn't take 24 hours to get delivered, it would, because they knew you were going to buy it. And this, again, is why AI is so important, because it has the capabilities to be able to gather that data for you without you having to wonder or worry about how do I actually figure out what my users need? How do I actually figure out what they would potentially want in the future, in 5 years and whatever? Because softwares and tools like this exist that will allow you to do that without having to brainstorm. The next thing I want to talk about is streamline navigation and accessibility. Because in UX, you can't really have a conversation about UX without talking about navigation and accessibility. Navigation is really where a lot of businesses that I've come across could have pitfalls, because you want users to find the products that you're selling with ease. And you think that, oh, as long as I put it within this category, it'll be easy to find it. But if your search functionality is whack, pardon my language, you would never actually be able to sell that product that you think is the star of your show. And AI does a really good job in helping you find the pitfalls in your UX design so that you're able to, I guess, pivot from what you have established as an idea of this is a good thing to have or this is a good thing to work with, to something more focused on this is actually what people are looking for and this is actually how people are navigating websites across the world digitally. But I'm going to quickly skip ahead so that we can look at some real life case studies, one case study. So if you've noticed, I've spoken about 3 key things. I've spoken about hyper-personalization, predictive analysis, and navigation and accessibility. So I worked with this client in Nigeria that was having a really difficult time selling their products to their customer base. They knew they were out there. Nigeria is a massive country with 200 million people. So there was a market for it. They just didn't know what they were doing with their websites. I saw that bounce rates were really high, especially in comparison to the organic traffic that was coming in, where it was just about 500 a month. And I guess the domino effect of that was really just that people weren't spending as much money on the website as they would have liked. So I did 3 key things. I used Hotjar and AWS to get Hotjar first to get an understanding of user journeys within the websites, to understand where people were going, where they were coming from, what they wanted, where they were dropping off. And then I used AWS to build out this, I guess, predictive analysis / recommendation thingy that allowed us to really spot where people were having that drop off or where they could potentially buy more stuff, and then build out a personalized recommendation portal for them to go through to get more stuff into their baskets. So if you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's really looking at, if I'm selling a scented candle, is there room for this specific buyer to also want to buy room sprays and things like that. Once I had set that up, I also then went ahead and set up an automated chatbot. Because one thing that I was really concerned about was that a lot of customers were dropping off at a specific point. And so I wanted to provide some support to them at that point so that they never had to flail around wondering, how do I go from point A to point B? And in 6 months, one of the key things that we saw was, first of all, the bounce rate had dropped to about 18%. And then I also saw that organic traffic, just from implementing a really good user experience on the website, not having to actually go into any in-depth SEO efforts, was up to about 5,000 a month. Now, this was all in 2021. So as you can imagine, with a prolonged use of AI in building out your services, you can see that exponential growth over time for a longer period of time. And AI really allows you to scale a lot of these changes. Recently, I also then went back and implemented a lot more AI-driven approaches to change the way people were interacting with the product. I'm at a place now where I am hopeful and excited to see the results from that. I will keep you posted on LinkedIn if you're on there. But if you've gotten to this point and now you're wondering, how do I get started? There are 3 key tools that I think will be relevant for you. I think using ChatGPT, which is the most accessible tool to use for building out your content, would probably be a really good place to start. I think also using Hotjar is really accessible in helping you understand what your users are doing at any given time. You can use session recordings to actually watch them go through your website, which will allow you to just gain insight into how they are thinking and, I guess, the best ways to approach any issues that they encounter along that user journey. And finally, I think SEMrush is a really good tool for keyword research when you're looking into actually building out your acquisition funnel and getting that organic traffic in. So again, the advice I would give myself 5 years ago is the advice I would give you. Start small, but start now. Start with one tool, even if it's just ChatGPT, to draft your content, and then move on as you get more bold and you realize how realistic AI actually is in your workflow. So having said all of that, today you're going to hear a lot about AI in the next sessions. So there are just 2 things that I want you to really take away from this talk. I want you to think about how AI is going to support you in the coming years and where you want to be now versus in 10 years' time. AI would be in a position to help you really build your teams, but also your business, so that you are making the right decisions for your customers, so that you are in a place where people look to your business and your strategies, the way we look to Amazon and Netflix as the go-to for really good service offerings. And if you have any questions about any of what I've spoken about, please reach out to me and let me know. Thank you.
Demand Sphere. Limitless visual insights from the SERPs. Unlimited dashboards and users. Easy to use and easy to scale your growth to new levels.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.